WNBA Player of the Week. There have only been 40 triple-doubles in the history of the WNBA. Cheryl Swoops recorded the first WNBA triple-double during the 1999 season, while Caitlin Clark logged the most recent triple-double earlier this week. She now has 102 on the season and is 19 away from Diana Taurasi in second place and 26 away from UNESCO of the New York Liberty. She ain't beating Asia Wilson for the MVP, but she's beating Angel Reese for the Rookie of the Year. That's a wrap. That's over. And props to Angel Reese, who's had a good year, by the way.
In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to break down the biggest WNBA scandal of the year. We're talking leaked rosters, angry fans, and million-dollar decisions. You'll find out which star player might be packing her bags, and why one surprise name on the list has everyone scratching their heads. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly why this roster leak is such a big deal, how it could change the entire league, and what it means for Caitlin Clark's future with the Fever. Plus, I'll give you my prediction on who the Fever might lose in the expansion draft. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. You know what's crazy? The Fever accidentally showed their whole hand. They posted a picture with 6 players. And guess what? 6 players get protected in the expansion draft. Coincidence? I don't think so. Let's break it down. Clark, Boston, Mitchell, no surprises there. Clark's rookie season was insane. She averaged 19.2 points and 8.4 assists per game. She led the league in assists and set records left and right.
She has lived up to expectations, right? I'm looking at her the way I look at LeBron James, right? For us, just in the women's side of things, and the hype that she had, the expectations she had.
Let's start with the rookie, Caitlin Clark-Kent. Superwoman, you see what I did there? She was on a tear, and last night was no different. Wings, Fever, Caitlin Clark set to go as she broke the single-season assist record.
She's been playing like a top 5 player in the league. She's been regularly dishing out double-digit assists in that time frame. Teams can no longer blitz her and trap her.
Boston, she's the #1 pick from 20 to 24 and one of the best bigs in the league. And Mitchell, she's dropping 19.2 points per game with a 58.8 true shooting percentage. These 3 are the core of the Fever's future. But then things get interesting. Lexi Hull? Okay, I see you, Fever. Hull's not a superstar, but she's got grit. She's the kind of player who does the dirty work on defense. She complements the stars, and that's valuable. Now here's where people are losing their minds. NaLyssa Smith. Fans are going crazy. Some love it, some hate it. Smith's been inconsistent on the court, and she's had some off-court distractions too. People are arguing about whether she deserves that spot. You know what's crazier? Coach Stephanie White said, there's not even one scenario ever out there in all the multiverses where Caitlin Clark wouldn't be on the list. That's how important Clark is to this team. But here's the thing, this leak could mess with team chemistry. Imagine being in that locker room right now. Some players are feeling secure, others are wondering if they're on the chopping block.
She's the first rookie to win WNBA Player of the Month since the award's inception in 2010, and last night it was no exception. They were sky high for Caitlin Clark and the Fever, but to start the season, they had a little bit of a rough go of it. They lost their first 5 games. They ended up 1-8 through their first 9 games, and during that first month, the playoffs, they didn't feel realistic at all. Indy entered the Olympic break 11-15 on the year, and then they really turned it around. They've won 7 of their 8 since. They clinched a playoff berth for the first time since 2016, which, by the way, was the last year of Hall of Famer and franchise icon Tamika Catchings.
And the players who didn't make the cut, they might be packing their bags already. But wait, there's more. The real shocker is who's not there. The Fever just showed their cards to the whole league. Free agents are watching, other teams are planning, and now everyone knows exactly who the Fever value most. It's like they just opened their playbook for the whole world to see. Remember when I said people were losing their minds? It's worse than that. The Fever fans are split right down the middle. Some are ready to storm the front office, demanding answers. They're furious about players left off the list. Others? They're calling this 4D chess. They think the Fever's front office is playing the long game, setting up for something big. But here's the real kicker: free agents. You think they're not watching this? They're glued to their screens, analyzing every move. Imagine you're Grace Berger right now. How are you feeling? 1 minute you're part of the future, the next you're not even in the picture.
We err on the side of professionalism in a lot of different ways, and we can only control what's in our organization, within our people. And that, I mean, me personally, we don't condone those kind of things. No. I would say my most memorable moment was my first time seeing the amount of fans. I don't know if it was like this is crazy moment. I think for me what was most glaring is, for one, the amount of eyes that was gained through this process, for seeing us play and seeing us represent what is the game.
That's gotta sting. The Fever just showed their cards to the whole league. It's like they opened their playbook and said, here you go, take a look. Now every team knows exactly who the Fever value most. That's huge information in the WNBA world. But check this out, the Fever have over $650,000 in cap space. That's a mountain of cash to play with. They could sign some serious talent to team up with Clark in Boston. But here's the million-dollar question. Is there a chance the Fever could lose key players because of this leak? You bet there is. Players talk. They're watching how teams treat their squad. If you're a free agent, are you gonna sign with a team that just threw half their roster under the bus? It's a tough sell. But wait, there's a twist. What if this mistake wasn't a mistake at all? Kelly Krauskopf, the Fever's president of basketball operations.
Trying to just go get some groceries and someone fist bumps me and says, "Go Fever." Like, that's just a really cool environment, and it shows, the dedication of the fans and the fandom in the city. So that part's been awesome. People were just so excited to come support the Fever. We felt that in our preseason games. We felt that even on draft night, we filled Gamebridge, which felt crazy. The start of the season, I feel like people, once we found out we had the #1 pick, and once Caitlin declared, that kind of changed things, I think, for the city a little bit. Like, we're not even doing anything in Gamebridge, and people are excited to watch the screen and see who we draft. So I think it's been so awesome, and just the growth has been insane.
Said something interesting. She talked about being bold and assertive in pursuing their goals. What if this leak was on purpose? A way to show the league they're not messing around? Think about it. The Fever are at the center of all the off-season drama now. Everyone's talking about them. Every move they make is going to be under a microscope. That's a lot of pressure, but it's also a lot of attention. And in the WNBA, attention can be golden. So, what's next for the Fever? That's the question on everyone's mind. Are they going to lose players? Make some blockbuster trades? Sign a superstar free agent? One thing's for sure, the WNBA offseason just got a whole lot more interesting. The Indiana Fever just flipped the WNBA world upside down with one accidental post. Can you believe it? This roster leak isn't just about who's staying and who's going. It's about the future of the whole league. Teams are watching, players are talking, and fans are losing their minds. What happens next? That's the question everyone's asking. Will the Fever make some big moves to fix this mess? Are we gonna see some surprise trades? The expansion draft just got way more interesting, and you can bet every team is rethinking their strategy. One thing's for sure, the WNBA offseason is on fire right now. It's like the Fever lit a match and threw it into a room full of fireworks. Buckle up, basketball fans. This ride's just getting started, and it's gonna be wild.